Okay, let us start. Okay, ji, now see this question. And in this question again, this is a very simple thing that you need to know, that you just need to identify the difference and their categories. Like the first one, my score is equal to 65. So here we are assigning this value to my score. So this is assignment. For index value is equal to 0 to 99. Now, when you have the keyword for, it is iteration loop. Okay, my array 3, this is the index 3, and you are assigning this built-in function mid my string to it, and here again you are assigning something to a location in the array, so it is assignment. And if my score is greater than or equal to 70, then now you have the word if. If means it is selection. And while is the part of if, so it is a selection. Sorry, and while is part of while. So while is a loop. Okay. So when while is a loop, so this is not this one. While is a loop, so it is an iteration. Else message is free. So else is part of if. So this is selection. Okay. Now here, you people might, this is a kind of a question. In this question, we have a structured English already given. Okay, this is a structured English. And from this structured English, you people are supposed to write a pseudocode. Okay. And before that, you need to know how to, in this question, they have given you the variables. Okay, they have made the thing more easier. They are just asking you to write the data type of it and then the description. Description is the use, why it is used. Okay. So data type, in the data type you can see it's very simple. How can we get the data type of it? कैसे हम इसको recognize कर सकते हैं कि which data type should be given to it? It's very easier. You just see alarm state. Now alarm state, you read the instruction, you read the structured English, like alarm state is something that will alarm. So it is saying that if temperature exceed threshold value, output message this, or temperature, yes, if temperature exceed threshold value, set alarm state to on. So it means alarm state is something in which you will have on and off. So for on and off, which data type we use boolean data type, because in the boolean we put the true or false. And the justification you can write is the same which I have selected from there. Alarm state is set to on or off. So on or off. So for this kind of data, boolean is suitable. Sensor value. Now if you see here, this is the sensor value. It's written here. Input sensor value. Whole number. So it is a whole number. So when it says whole number, this is integer. Sensor value is of integer. So what the justification you will write, you can read it from here. Sensor value, you can see that it's written here. Sensor value, you can see the value read by sensor. Okay, this is the value read by the sensor and will be used in calculating temperature. So it will be used for calculating the temperature. Here you can see the temperature the sensor value by multiply sensor value by conversion 1.35 to give temperature. So temperature is calculated by the sensor value. Then a threshold value. If a temperature does not exceed threshold value, so threshold value, again it's given in the question. Threshold value is a 2 decimal places. So for this we put real. Okay. You can write real, single, float, whatever, but real is more appropriate. So this threshold value is a value used to compare the temperature. Okay, so threshold value is the value that we will use to compare the temperature, and then we can say that the temperature is higher, the temperature is lower. And the temperature, you can see temperature is calculated. So it is again this line is telling us point number 4, multiply sensor value by conversion factor 1.35 to give temperature. So here again we will write real, and then so this is the temperature value calculated by sensor value. Sensor value will give us the calculation of the temperature. Okay, so this is how the first thing that you should understand. The very first step in writing the pseudocode is to exactly identify the identifiers, the variables, and then their data types, and then a very clear understanding of its use, the purpose of using that particular variable. And that is for that we write the description. And then write the pseudocode equivalent to the structured English use. Okay. Is my screen is visible? Is it lagging or not? Can anyone give me the feedback? Rahma, Myra, you can write in the text box. Is it okay? Okay. Okay, ji. Now the question is, now we need to write the pseudocode for the same. Okay, we need to write the pseudocode for the same. Now how we'll do this? Just a minute. Okay. So we have the same. If the temperature does not exceed the threshold value, now see, we have to write the pseudocode of it. To write the pseudocode, okay. Now the first thing that we will do here is that we need to input the threshold value, input the sensor value, okay? And the other thing is that setting the It will subroutine sample temp, which samples the temperature and set the initial design. What we will be doing now, we are going to write the very first thing is that alarm state is turned as false. Initially the alarm state is false, okay, and then input the threshold value. One thing, input the sensor value. Second thing, so two things we have taken from the user. Okay, then after taking the threshold value and the sensor value, we need to calculate the temperature, and the temperature is equal to the way it is written in point 4, sensor value by conversion factor. So sensor value into 1.135. So we calculated the temperature. After this, if temperature is greater than threshold value, then now it is point number 5. If temperature exceed threshold value, set alarm state to on. And if temperature exceed threshold value, output message. So we will do these two things over here. Output temperature alarm, and then alarm state is equal to true. Okay, this is going to be true. We can do this first, or the way it is written over here, yes, we can write it first and then we can output if you follow the instruction. And then if it is not, else. What it will do, if the temperature does not exceed threshold value, output message temperature okay. So this is the complete pseudocode that is required over here. This is how we converted this pseudocode, this structured English solution into the pseudocode. Okay, is it clear, students? Now moving next. Okay. Yes, this is the question in which we will be using the pseudocode to use a precondition loop for this validation. Precondition loop. This is page number 46. And it's saying to write pseudocode to use a precondition loop for this validation. Although it has a connection with the last question in which you will be doing this part. It's an easier question, and in this question you are just supposed to place these 1 2 3 4 into this flowchart, and you can have the hint from input. This is an input statement, this is a process, this is a condition, This is input, this is process, output. So you can take the help of it. You can do it yourself, okay? I'll just go to this one and it says start loop input ticket type, and this is actually a validation. Validation, you remember what is validation? Validation is the correct, allowing only the correct data to be entered, an automated system in which the incorrect data will be rejected. So the pseudocode to use a precondition loop for this validation means it will allow the user to only enter E or S, economy, or uh, the E and S. The S was for business, yes, standard class, economy class, and the standard class. So you know the precondition loop. The precondition loop is the while and while. So we will use the same. How will we do this? First of all, input ticket type. Input ticket type. Okay. And then we will have the loop while ticket type. Now it says the condition says that it must be E or S. Okay. You just have to see the condition. It says the ticket type is E or S, while ticket type is not equal to E or ticket type is not equal to S. So what it will say? It will again it has nothing. It will again input ticket type. It is asking to enter the ticket type again and end while. So this is the simple answer. So it means what this loop will do, it will ask the person to enter the ticket type, and if the ticket type the person enter, if he will not enter E or S, like the person entered T, so when he entered T, the loop will again ask the person to enter the ticket type, and it will keep asking unless you will not enter E or S. So it is important, when you will enter E, it will not ask again, and when you will enter S, it will not ask again. But the moment you enter any other letter than E or S, it will ask again to enter. So it means it is trying to get the correct data from the user. This is the validation. Okay. So this is a precondition loop. Now you can see, we'll see some other question. The flow chart. Yes, this is a kind of a same question. Loop. And it says the programmer amended the design to validate the value of player game rather grade that the user inputs. The amended part of the flowchart is shown below. Loop input player game grade is player game grade. So if again, but here you see what is the difference between these two. You can do the say unless it is not mentioned, it is a precondition or a post condition. Yes, if it is saying no, if the condition is taking you back, if it is going back on based on no, it means it is what it is doing. We are using the again if it is yes, then it's fine. If it is no, it is asking. So it means again we will use the while and while loop. So this is the same type of question. You can practice, do it yourself. So you can see it has used while loop. Okay, then just let me see a different question. Post condition loop. Now this is a post condition loop. A loop construct, also known as repetition or iteration, appears in many algorithms. Use pseudocode to write a post condition loop to output all odd numbers between 100 and 200. Okay. Now here we will be using a post condition loop, not a precondition loop. And in the post condition loop, you remember the post condition loop is a loop in which the condition is tested in the end. Okay. So how we'll do this? And it is giving us the range between 100 and 200. So we'll have, it has not mentioned if it has the variables. No specific variable is mentioned over here. So we can use any variable. So count, we can use count is equal to, okay. Now if we write, we want to print, if I write, let's say I write 100 and then we'll write repeat until, okay. So the post condition is repeat until in pseudocode. And then what we'll be doing will be output what? Count. We'll output the count. And the other thing, we need to increment the count. Count is equal to count plus 1. Okay. Now I've not done it as per the need of this the question. I've just written the repeat until with its basic pseudocode pattern. Now see, if I write, if I go with this code, it will only print the numbers, not, let me complete it, until count is greater than 200. Okay. If we'll do this, what will happen? It will just print the number series between from 100 to 200. It will not give us the odd numbers. In order to get the odd number, first thing is that we need the jump of 2. So we take jump of 2. But now if we will do this with this code, it will give us even numbers. And if you want to get the odd numbers, what we will do, either we can make it 99 or we can make it 101. So if it is 101, it will give a jump of, first it will print 100. It will print 100. No, it will not print 100. It will print 101. Then it will print 103, 105, and so on. And every time it check for this condition, if it is this is returning false, it will go back. I told you that the post condition loop is a false based loop. It runs when the condition returns false. Okay. Now when we will reach at 199, it will print 199 is greater than 200. No, it is not greater than 200. Then it will print 199. After printing, it will check this and it will go back, and then it will print 199, and then after adding 199 plus 2, it will become 201. So when it will check 201 is greater than 200, yes, it is greater than 200. Now it will stop. So this is the solution. This is the answer of the question. So this we have done with the post condition loop. Okay. Moving next, I'm randomly picking the questions and just considering that yes. Now here we have the nested if condition. We have seen the, I'm just picking the question based on the different construct we have discussed in the last lesson. Okay, we have seen the inputs and output, we have seen the expressions, evaluating the expressions, then we have seen the loops. Now we are reaching to the if statement. Now this is done with the if statement. This coding is done with the if statement, and this is a nested if statement. What is nested if statement? Nested means if within if. Nested, concept of nested can be used with if, concept of nested can be used with for. So if you have if within if, that is a nested. If you have for within for, that is a nested. So now they're saying that this code needs to be converted into using another case statement. And I'm sure you remember the difference between if then else and the case statement. If then else is used when the outcome of the condition, there are two outcome of a condition, and case statement when there are multiple outcome of a condition. So how will we solve it? Just see, the main part of this code is my VA. This my VAR is 1, my VAR is 2, my VAR is 3. So this is how we come to know that the value of my VAR is giving different conditions. So we'll just consider the case on my VAR. Okay. So what I will write over here is case of my VAR, and if it is 1, so call procedure 1, and if it is 2, then call procedure 2, and if it is 3, call procedure 3. Okay, and otherwise what we will do, output error, and then we have end case. Okay, this is how we do this case question. So we have just placed the, so this is the keyword case of, I will just make it caps lock, case of my VAR. Okay, and we can make little indentation so that it seems, indentation gives us the better understanding. 2, 3, and then output. Otherwise we can write otherwise and output in front of it as well. There's no issue. We can write like this, otherwise error, and end case. This is the answer. This is how we converted the nested if into case of. Okay. Then okay, I will also explain this question, because in this question we have now for loop. For is also something that you need to understand. In this question we have the variables like number found, remainder, number, and this is a dry run. Okay, this is a dry run or a trace table. We also call it a trace table. Trace table where we can run a pseudocode and we can see the the state of its variables in different levels. So every row shows a next level or a next phase of this coding. Okay, so you can see the start number, end number, division. So these are the variables. So inputting the start number, inputting the end number, inputting the divisor, and then the number found is 0. Now the loop is from number to start number to end number. So the person is going to enter, now this is the start number and this is the end number. So what the person will do, so the start number is 11 and the end number is 13. Okay, you take this, so they have given us the initial value, that is 11 and 13, and divisor is also given, that is 2, and number found is 0, it is initially set to 0. Now we'll take all these things and we'll proceed according to the pseudocode. Now in this pseudocode, right after the first line of the for loop, we will start from here. The first thing, we will calculate remainder. Okay, this is written over here. Remainder is modulus, number, and divisor. So number is now 13 and the divisor is the 2. So we'll divide like this. 2 6 are 12. The built-in function modulus, it gives us the remainder of the division that we will perform. So 12 and 13 and the remainder is 1. So the modulus function will return this number 1 to the remainder. So what comes in the remainder now? For the first calculation, the number that comes, the number is, now the remainder is 1. Okay. When the remainder is 1, so this condition is false and you will not go inside, and then it will move next. So next time it was 11, now it will become 12. So here we'll put 12. Start number is 12. And then end number is 13. Okay. Again, you will calculate the remainder. Number is okay. So the number here is, again, we placed number. Okay, just okay. Number is now 12. Okay, number अब जो अब हमने दिया है. The next start number say 11 was changed to, this is gone to the number. So number is now 12. First the number was 13 and now the number is 12. Okay, now we'll give 12 here. Now inside is 12 and 2 divide, and now the remainder is 0. So the remainder comes 0. With 12 the remainder is 0. When it is 0, this is equal to 0. So when it is equal to 0, it says output number. So number is 12. So we'll output number over here. 12. Number 12 will be output. And number found is equal to number found plus 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. You write 1 over here. And then it moves next, and then it gives the start number is 13. Because it has to go till the end number, that is 13. Okay, so 13. Now the number is 13. Again 13. Initially it was not 13. It was initially it was 11. So we did mistake over here. Although the remainder is correct, but initially it was 11. So the remainder was, if it is 11, even then 5, the remainder is 1. Okay. This is correct, but we did this wrong calculation. So it was 11, 12, and then we have 13. So with the 13, again the remainder is 1. And when it is 1, no calculation. No, the loop will, this condition will not be true. So it will not go inside. And then it will move like this. Again. So number found will only remain 1. So in the end, output count. So what we will write here? We will write count and number found. Number found is 1. So this is 1. Count is 1. So this is what you will output. Okay. This is how we dry run this this code. Okay, we dry run this code. Only the number found is 1 and we output this. So this is how you will carry on. I will recommend now every one of you to write and attempt the questions given in this topical. It will give you the confidence of dealing with the basic questions, and these questions, they are usually they take 14 to 16 mark in your final exam. So if you are good enough and if you have a clear understanding of these questions and the practice of these questions, you will definitely get a very first successful attempt of your paper questions. Okay, so this is our today's